Hi everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Sorry I haven't posted in a while. I had a few things that got in the way of a regular publishing schedule, but I am back and you can expect to see one video a week, at least for the next couple of weeks. So in today's video, I wanted to talk about some early signs that something was wrong that I experienced before I received my official diagnosis. Hopefully, if you are experiencing any of this or something feels off, then this video will help you get the proper medical attention that you need. And let's get into it. I think what's really, really important to understand is that majority of cancer or oncological symptoms by themselves might seem like they're not a big deal, which is exactly what I thought when I started experiencing some of my symptoms, and I kept thinking, oh, it's this or it's that. And I constantly found excuses for my symptoms, which I think that even if you're watching this video and you're fine, if God forbid you will have any weird symptoms, health symptoms in the future, you won't be like me and you won't look for excuses. I think the biggest takeaway from this video that I want each viewer to have is if something feels wrong, something probably is wrong. So you need to go and have it taken care of. The first symptom that I experienced was an enlarged lymph node. And we all know lymph nodes can be enlarged from a cold, from some kind of lingering infection, from a vaccine shot. But if you have a lymph node that's been enlarged for a while and it's not going down, please, please, please go and check it out. Let your primary care physician know that you have a lymph node that's been enlarged and you can feel them. They're under your chin, they're around your neck. This is not a lymph node, this is a ganglion cyst. They can be behind your ears, they can be under your armpits. If you have a lymph node, do not say, oh, it's fine. Go and have it checked out. So I had an enlarged lymph node. It didn't bother me. It didn't hurt. It was just there. You can feel it. You can palpate it. You can touch it. That was one of the first symptoms that I had. Another symptom that I had, which I thought was nothing, turned out that that was not the case, was my eyes would burn. I don't know how to describe this feeling, but if you've ever had a fever, you know how your eyelids feel hot? That was a symptom. My eyelids would always feel hot, and I would be driving and my excuse would be like, oh, it's end of the day. I was in front of the computer for so long. That's probably when my eyes hurt. No, if your eyelids are burning, let your primary care physician know, let your optometrist know, let your ophthalmologist know, let somebody know. And if you are experiencing the same symptom all the time, most likely it needs some attention. So never kind of find excuses for things. That was my biggest mistake. And never kind of just let things go. If you're experiencing the same symptom over and over again, and if there isn't an explanation that you can immediately find, then don't dismiss it. Another thing that started bothering me, and I did not think it had anything to do with any kind of serious illness, was back pain. I had back pain between my shoulder blades. I had lower back pain, and I pawned it off to constantly carrying around a toddler, constantly picking up a toddler. I thought it was a muscle injury or, just kind of muscle fatigue that was causing this pain. Lower back pain, I was thinking that it was hormonal related, meaning like cycle related, because when you're expecting your period or you're expecting your menstrual cycle, you can have back pain, and that back pain would go away when heat was applied or if I got a massage, but the back pain kept coming back. When something keeps coming back, you really, really should address it. I would say if you have any kind of pain in weird places, pain that feels unusual, pain that is recurring, a healthy person should not be experiencing pain. If you haven't had an injury, if you haven't had a fall of some sort, you shouldn't be experiencing pain. If pain keeps coming back, please see your primary care physician and address that pain. Another symptom that turned out to be a symptom of Hodgkin's lymphoma in my case was fatigue. I was so tired. I was constantly so tired. And what I excused it by was just being tired from being a full-time mom. I was a stay-at-home mom right before I got diagnosed, and I thought, I'm just coming off of the fact that I have a 20-month-old and she's finally going to daycare and I just need to get some rest. If you're feeling overly fatigued, please let your primary care physician know. Those were my symptoms. And lastly, the symptom that I had that made me wake up and go to the doctor and address my physical state more seriously was night sweats. And when I say night sweats, I didn't experience these night sweats daily. In the 6 months that probably I had active disease in my body, I maybe had 3 or 4 nights where I would wake up in night sweats. And when I say night sweats, I mean drenched. I don't mean hot, I mean drenched in sweat from head to toe. And those were the things that made me go to the doctor. And I'll be making another video to specifically address my diagnosis story because there's a few caveats to that. And I'll explain why I had the experience that I had because I was diagnosed right after COVID. But initially, I thought that night sweats could be something hormonal or delayed postpartum. And so the first doctor who helped me sort of at least try to start digging into what's going on with me was my gynecologist, because I went in and I said, I'm having night sweats. Could this be related to hormone levels? So we started testing that and started going from there. But that was probably the scariest symptom, and this is a symptom that was the loudest, because as I mentioned, the rest of my symptoms were very much like whispers, and I understand why Hodgkin's lymphoma in my case and Hodgkin's lymphoma in general is really hard to diagnose, and it is oftentimes overlooked and missed because the symptoms that are traditional Hodgkin's lymphoma symptoms could be attributed to many, many factors. For me, as I say it, they were whispers. My symptoms were whispers until I started experiencing night sweats. But I urge anybody who is experiencing any sort of weird symptoms that they've never had before to contact their doctor and address them before it, progresses or before it becomes more severe. So I want to conclude this video by once again reiterating that you should never overlook any symptoms that are recurring. If something hurts and then it goes away, that's not the same as chronic recurrence of pain, unexplained pain. If something feels off, see your doctor, don't delay. By the time that I got diagnosed, my Hodgkin's lymphoma was already stage 3. And that's only 6 months. This disease progresses very quickly. So if something feels off, don't delay. Additionally, what I want to mention in this video is the classic Hodgkin's lymphoma symptoms that are common, right, with Hodgkin's lymphoma. And that's unexplained itching, which I then later realized that I also had, but because I've always had a history of eczema, I didn't think that this was related to something else. So that's another symptom that I overlooked. But unexplained itching, weight loss, unexpected weight loss, something that I didn't have. Enlarged lymph nodes of the head and neck area, so behind the ear, around the neck, on the neck. And night sweats, those are symptoms. Those are classic Hodgkin's lymphoma symptoms. But like I said, any symptom that you have that seems strange, tell your doctor, even if it's minor. A lot of my symptoms separately would have been considered minor, but combined together, those symptoms were a telltale sign of classic Hodgkin's lymphoma, stage 3 in my case.